and welcome back. This is such an interesting video because I am joined by Ian Salis, who's known as the hair medic. He's a trichologist, and this is everything you ever wanted to know about hair and scalp health but were afraid to ask. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me how long you've been a trichologist. Can you kind of quickly explain exactly what a trichologist is, bearing in mind some of my followers all around the world?
Okay, so I have been a trichologist. I qualified in 2001.
Okay.
Before that, I was a hairdresser, so I worked at several very good, well-known salons. So people used to come in and go, "Why is my hair curly? Why is my daughter's colour a different colour to my colour? Why is my hair falling out?" So I thought, and every hairdresser, and these are very, very well-known hairdressers, each of the people in the salon had a different take on it, and this is what I understood as what's called empirical learning. You get taught from the person that taught you. Mm-hmm. So that means that all the
brand that taught you as well.
All the brand that taught you. So, and that gets filtered down from person to person to person. These are how these hair myths perpetuate. So I thought there must be something more credible. There must be a science behind this. So I looked, and then I realised that there was trichology. So I studied at the Institute of Trichologists for 3 years. And then I was registered with them as a trichologist.
Now, where do people find their nearest trichologist? Can they go to the Institute of Trichology?
Yeah, there's several different places that offer trichological training, all private bodies, so to speak. But there is the Institute of Trichologists, there's the International Association of Trichology. But as long as they're registered to a governing body which have a code of ethics and they've gone through a significant amount of training in a couple of years, then you should be on to a winner.
And when do you know when you need to see a trichologist? Because one of the most common questions I get is fine and thinning hair and hair damage. And then I get all the scalp problems as well. So when do you know when your hairdresser or hairstylist can't cope and you need to see a real expert?
Okay, so
not being rude about hairdressers, they're amazing at styling and colouring hair.
Yeah, trichology in this country is a private referral service. So if you go and see a trichologist, you're going to pay, which means that you need to make sure that you go at the right time.
If you have got fine and thinning hair, what is your advice? What should you do? Okay,
so the reason why I say go and see your doctor first is because doctors are really good at finding illnesses. So thyroid problems, anemia, diabetes, polycystic ovary syndrome, all those things can affect females' hairs, but they are big issues, and doctors can deal with that, and they're very good at finding illnesses. If you go to them and go, "My hair's thin," to them it's trivial, to you it isn't, because it is a massive psychological and emotional upheaval. But for most people, they have to set out on this massive investigation on their own to find the right person to help them with their hair loss. And that's when the lucky people come and see myself or my colleagues, because we know what to look for, what the doctors have missed, and how to put it right.
Let's go back to what are probably the 3 or 4 most common problems people come to you with?
We will, if I dissect it, 80% of my patients are female.
Come to you, and I bet they're the ones that people are always asking me about as well.
So let's split this up. Under the menopause, usually it's a nutritional issue, and for that it's usually iron. So a lot of women, they just need their iron bumping up and their hair density returns. Now you've got to understand the complexity of how hair grows to get the full scale of this, because if you've got a chest infection, you take a tablet, your chest gets better. If you have a cut on your hand, you can sort of wrap it up, and in a couple of days you can see it get better.
Hair takes a long time to recover.
Hair takes a long time. What you've got to understand is your length and time and density are inextricably linked. Hair's 4D, there's length, breadth, width, and time attached to it. So when you see people with long hair and they lose density from it, it's going to take that long again for it to grow back. So people may take an iron tablet and they'll go, "Well, I took it for 3 weeks and nothing happened." Well, of course nothing's going to happen. 1, because iron doesn't get into your system that quickly, and 2, you've got to wait for your hair to actually respond, which takes about 3 months. And then you've got to wait for your hair to grow back, which takes about 3 months. And then you've got to allow it to go from here down to there, which takes 1 centimetre per month.
1 centimetre per month. hear that. It's really important. Okay, so iron.
So iron.
Is iron one of your supplements you would recommend if somebody has low iron levels?
Yes, but contraceptive pills. The wrong contraceptive pill will actually increase a drip feed androgen in your hair follicles and therefore thin the hair over time.
Is that true of certain coils as well that have got hormones in them?
Yes.
Jo Jones, you were right. She's convinced her Mirena coil, progesterone
Yeah,
coil.
Mirena coils are usually pretty awful for people's hair, and so is the Depo-Provera injection, and so is the rod that feed. So anything which is long term.
You were right, Jo. I've got an expert.
Doesn't affect everybody.
No.
But there is a high percentage of women that the hair thins when they're on these long-term contraceptive devices.
And it makes sense because we all know that pregnant ladies, their hair gets thicker, so we know that there's an underlying hormonal cause.
That's the issue.
So if you play with your hormones and you're sensitive to that,
Yeah.
it makes complete sense.
So
we're looking at iron levels and hormone levels.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, then you're going into the more unusual versions, which is usually caught by doctors, like thyroid levels or polycystic ovary syndrome, which
again, it's a hormone issue.
It's a hormone.
Isn't it?
And then you've got issues which people can do externally to the hair, which has got nothing to do with how your hair grows.
Oh, please.
And
no, I've got a disastrous hair straightening.
So you've got straighteners, you've got bleachers, and you've got brushes. So
guilty, sir. Guilty.
yeah.
Right, let's bust some myths about fine and thinning hair and what you should use. Is a certain shampoo better than any other shampoo? Should we be looking for SLS free? Are there certain cleansers that are better than others?
In essence, no.
There's nothing to look for that's either good or bad in a shampoo, to your mind.
Unless that person has a scalp problem. If they
Okay.
turn around to me and go, my scalp's irritated.
But in terms of
I'll
hair,
ask them.
no.
But in terms of hair growth or hair loss,
Okay.
no. The shampoo that you use really doesn't make any difference.
How often should we be shampooing our
As
hair?
often as you want.
Okay.
My wife has fuse wire, thick, coarse hair. It's beautiful hair. She only has to wash it once a week.
Yes.
I have very fine hair,
Right.
and I've got seborrheic dermatitis, so I need the medicated shampoo, and I need to wash my hair every day.
Do you?
Yeah. So otherwise, I'm itching.
Yes.
So it's up to that individual. But what you can't do is force your hair or force yourself into a regime because somebody says so. It's not going to make any difference.
I'm going to talk about my favourite brush. This is the Tangle Teezer Fine and Fragile. I absolutely love it. Do brushes make a difference to your hair?
They can do, yeah. I mean, people with very fine hair, they usually tend to do everything possible to make their hair look better.
Mm-hmm.
If that includes using a brush that isn't going to break the ends of the hair, that is really important. Not bleaching hair, that's really important. Not straightening your hair as much, that's really important. Because what you're doing is you're taking those ends of the hair all the time and just making it look diffuse. So using a brush like that for fine and fragile hair, very important. Probably more important to me, and the reason why the International Trichology Congress agreed to endorse that is because for a company to talk about fine and fragile hair is very
really important.
Because it's been hidden for so long under the words fine hair and things like that, and people talk
delicate
about
hair, sensitive hair, yeah.
But for a company to go, this is for people who suffer from hair loss, or this is for people who are worried about their hair, it's great because it gets people talking about it. And it's such a taboo subject.
I agree. I've noticed a real difference with this. I absolutely love it. I think for me, I tell you what I will notice when I brush my hair and I look down, because I always wear black a little bit like you, always in dark colours, those little broken ends that you get. If you don't know what I'm talking about, lucky you. But if you colour your hair and you've got delicate hair, I just notice there's less of them, a lot less of them.
Yeah.
You were saying there, if you have fine and fragile hair, the key is less heat.
That's part of it. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
In terms of, is it just straighteners, or should we be turning our hairdryers down and our straighteners too?
The problem is with hairdryers is usually they are designed to go up to about 90 degrees maximum. Now, if you use a hairdryer normally, then it's fine. But people don't use their hairdryers normally. What they do is they get the nozzle, they get the hair, and they push the nozzle on
Blast
the hair,
it!
and then they pull it down like that. So there's extra tension.
Have you been watching? You blow dry my fringe.
It's just what people do because they want their hair dry quickly. So what that does is it occludes the heat, occludes the dryer, And then the heater,
suddenly
ramps up massively to about 160, 180, and then that's where the hair damage. But if you just gently waft the hair like it's been tested, then it's fine. So heat straighteners, yes. Over 180, you're gonna start melting keratin.
Can you actually melt your keratin?
Oh, you can, yeah.
No, the keratin is the protein in your hair that we've talked about. Let's do heat sprays. Go on.
Heat sprays. Everybody goes, my hair's fine because I use a heat spray.
I have the feeling we're all just about to be told off.
Well, they're not as successful as you think they are. I mean,
they don't allow you to just blast your hair, do
I'll
they?
put it this way, I always remember talking to somebody when they came into my salon that went, this product protects the hair from heat. You sure about that? I said, yes. I said, right, dip your finger in it. So he dips his finger in it. So right, I'm going to put these heat straighteners over your finger. Tell me if you feel heat. He didn't let me do it because for some strange reason I think he didn't believe in his own products. Now, if that was 100% a heat proof,
protector, yeah,
you won't feel it to it. But it's exactly the same. Now, what it can do is it can protect the outer coating, but it'll still cook the inside. It's better for your hair, but it doesn't protect it 100%.
I have to say, and I don't know, Ian has got nothing to do with this. One of the reasons I like the Dyson hairdryer is because it's got a sensor that continually measures the temperature of the heat all the time. So if you go closer to your hair, the heating elements come down. It's really clever. It's really, really, really clever. I'm sorry it's so expensive, but I'm convinced I had less damage from it as well. Also, I think the secret is to rough dry your hair 90% before you start going in and blast. Does anything repair hair once it's damaged?
No, because it's a dead fibre.
Okay.
So you can gum
we forget that our hair's dead.
You can gum up the cracks, and they're always finding better things to gum up the cracks with.
But it's all temporary and it's all a gum.
It's a polyfiller.
Yeah.
If there's a crack on that wall and you can put a polyfiller and paint over it, the crack's still there. It's just got polyfiller on it.
I guess maybe the idea is to find the polyfiller that lasts better than any other. Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of people ask me about hair supplements. Now, you have got a supplement here that you like. What are we looking for in a hair supplement? Sorry, I asked you, is there a good or a bad hair diet?
Yes, there is a good hair diet. I mean, there isn't a superfood for hair, but hair is majoritively made out of protein. So a high protein diet is very important. And there is something specific in hair which are sulfur-rich amino acids. So these are amino acids which are usually found in red meat, oily fish, eggs, cysteine, cysteine, methionine, those things. And
what do you do if you're a vegetarian or a vegan?
Well, vegan's difficult. Vegetarian, less difficult. But yes, that you can get these proteins in other food types, but the what's called incomplete proteins. So you've got to really, really look at your diet and try and get those in, because there's a lot of people that come to me which are iron, vitamin B12, protein deficient, which are on those restricted diets, and you've got to respect people for their wishes. But it's sometimes, if you're not careful, it can be quite detrimental to that.
And is that when, for you, a supplement comes in?
This
is hair jelly.
This is hair jelly. You can either increase your protein intake, eat more steak, eat more red meat, eat more fish, eat more eggs. If you can't because you're too busy, or it's against what you believe in, then that's the time to use a supplement. Now, hair jelly was called hair jelly because it mimics gelatin.
Yes.
And the marrow from bones. And that is very, very high in cysteine. So we looked at that and mimicked those natural products. But obviously...
Are they vegan and vegetarian friendly?
Vegetarian, not vegan.
Not vegan,
It's very, very difficult to
it
find
is
a
really
cysteine-based product which is vegan. Sorry.
Yeah. Our takeaway advice for anybody that's got fine and thinning hair is, if you can, firstly go and see your GP to have a blood test, and you can ask for your results, and you can take your results to a trichologist, which is the best thing to do, because obviously that will save you some money, but you will have to pay for a trichologist because trichologists are private in the UK. And then a trichologist can work with your tests to eliminate serious underlying medical problems.
Problems that I see are with women, age-related, and genetics as well. Women do suffer from genetic hair loss, and you can again use Regain and Minoxidil and things like that.
Do they work as well in women?
Work better.
Do they?
Yeah, they work a lot better in women than they do in men. But usually we do that hand in hand with a changing of an anti-androgen or raising levels. So again, it's not just go out and just use that and that's it. So it's always sort of investigating, it's always trying to get the right medication, the right products for that person.
In terms of what you can buy over the counter, we're looking at a gentle, flexible bristle hairbrush, something like
That'd be very helpful.
my Tangle Teas are Fine and Fragile. Shampoos, you're really not that fussy, are you?
Not unless you've got a scalp problem.
Okay. Should you be looking for unscented products on your scalp if you've got sensitive scalp?
Yeah, I mean, unscented and uncoloured products are very good for sensitive because those are where the main sensitivities
Yeah,
usually
same for your
lie.
skin. It makes complete sense because your scalp is skin, yeah.
And I think it's really important for people that are suffering from hair loss to understand that styling your hair is a massive psychological importance.
Mm-hmm.
What you can't do is suffer twice, because I know maybe some of the older guard trichologists would say you can't colour your hair, you can only wash your hair in this type of shampoo, don't dry it with heat. And they'd be miserable twice because they've been losing the hair and not being able to style the hair. So as long as you've got the underlying issue under control and you've got a pathway, then I would say to my patients, you can colour your hair as long as you don't use bleach, don't perm your hair. You can use these products and make sure that you use your hair to the best of your abilities, because then at least you feel a little bit better on this journey of recouping your hair.
So you like thickening sprays for that reason, do you?
Absolutely.
Any particular brands or not really?
Nope.
You don't really care?
Nope.
You're not brand specific
I'm not
at
brand
all.
specific.
So we're talking about a nice, preferably unscented, uncoloured shampoo. I'm going to have to go away and research that and drop them in. A really gentle, flexible bristle brush is essential. Do take a supplement, but be careful which supplements you take. Don't fall for the hype in terms of...
Unscented shampoos, if you want something online, there is a Philip Kingsley no colour shampoo, which is very, very good, a little bit more expensive and a little higher end. So those two things are absolutely excellent for the people that have got sensitive scalps and just want something, just a shampoo with nothing else in it.
And also for people with fine and fragile hair, I always think the same with your skin. Treat everything as being sensitive, and then you're on the safe side of everything, aren't you?
Some people do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then look for a supplement, but the main thing is to get enough protein in your diet, isn't it?
Protein and
if you're
iron.
a vegetarian and you don't eat eggs, cheese, dairy, milk, meat, fish, where should you be getting your protein?
Well, nuts and pulses are usually the main things for vegetarians. Lots of beans and stuff like that. So it's...
And if somebody comes to see you, do they get some sort of special magic massage?
No. I've never massaged anybody's scalp.
Because there is, isn't there? There are trichologists that do this sort of ritual. I've been to a Parisian trichologist that does this ritual where they sort of massage and put you under UV lights and all this, or LED lights, no?
The thing is that those types of things, they are...
I feel like we're being really naughty.
They feel nice.
Yes.
But my job is to get your hair back.
Okay.
And I can do that best by looking at your bloods, telling you what the problem is and correcting it.
Okay.
That head massage ain't going to do anything on that
I know.
day. So it's...
Can I ask you, just roughly, and I know it's really hard to say this, how much would it cost roughly to go and see a trichologist? Because people are going to ask me.
I can only give you my prices because they vary.
Okay.
The cost, if you want to come see me, for males it's £95, for females it's £125. The difference is because, like I said, with men it's usually an open and shut case. With women it's usually a lot longer problem. Usually people need to come see me once or twice.
Really?
Because it's the way that I work is they come and see me, then there is a whole length of blood tests and treatments and hand holding and another blood test, and maybe in about 9 months, 12 months time we can revise what we've done, and then at that point we'll either go, yes, that's great, or no, it isn't working, then we'll revise it.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
I will get the details of all of Ian's website and, I guess by association, the products that he recommends, because then you know that at least somebody who knows what they're speaking about is recommending them. Otherwise, when it comes to everything else out on the market,
you can
take it all with a pinch of salt, really.
I mean, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, things. By all means, if there's any questions, please just find me and ask a question. Either I'll know, or I'll be able to tell you the person who does know.
He has no idea what he's just let himself in for. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I will absolutely put all of Ian's details down below, plus all of the things that I love, which is basically my Tangle Teaser, Fine and Fragile, but also I do love my Dyson. I'm sorry it's so expensive. I'll also put the details of the hair jellies down because they make complete sense to me. You see, when you just speak to somebody who knows what they're talking about, it suddenly all becomes a little bit clearer. So thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you soon.